every year, dozens of incredibly strong, like very capable swimmers end up drowning in riptides.
Yeah, it's really terrifying.
It is. And the really tragic part is it's actually rarely the water that kills them. I mean, it's their own panic.
Right, they just fight it.
Exactly. Their brain just screams at them to fight the ocean, to swim as hard as they possibly can against this totally unstoppable current.
Which is impossible, you know.
Completely impossible. They expend absolutely all of their energy trying to control this uncontrollable force until they just sink.
Yeah.
So today's deep dive is really about why we do the exact same thing in our daily lives, like without even realizing it.
Oh, 100% we do.
Right. So welcome to your custom deep dive. Today we are taking you on a journey. Our mission today is to unpack a profoundly moving, incredibly poetic text from your sources.
It's a really beautiful piece of work.
It really is. It's this piece of wisdom that deals with impermanence, detachment, and, the mind-body connection. And what struck me immediately was how this text uses the natural world to sort of explain the sheer exhaustion of our modern lives.
Yeah, it's a remarkable text. And what makes it so relevant for you listening right now is that it doesn't just offer, abstract philosophy. Like, it's not just theory.
It's actually practical.
Very practical. It provides a literal mechanism for surviving the modern experiences of stress and burnout and just the crazy information overload we all deal with.
Oh, for sure.
We are essentially going to move from the turbulence of a raging tide all the way to the total serenity of an open sky.
I love that. And, the text begins right out of the gate with this really powerful metaphor of the ocean. It says the tide, quote, comes unsummoned and leaves without a word. And man, when I read comes unsummoned, I immediately thought about how much time we spent like trying to summon or command things that are just entirely out of our control.
Oh, that phrase it's doing a tremendous amount of heavy lifting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, comes unsummoned reminds us that the most massive forces in reality simply do not ask for our permission.
Right. They just happen.
Exactly. The tide has this natural, unforced cycle. It rages, it crests, and then eventually it finds stillness. And it does all of this completely without ego.
Without ego, right.
Like, it doesn't apologize for the destruction it might cause at high tide, and it certainly doesn't boast about the peace it brings at low tide, you know.
It just acts. It just does what it does.
It simply leaves without a word. The mechanism here is absolute acceptance of the cycle. But then the poem immediately contrasts that natural rhythmic majesty with human behavior.
It's just much messier.
Way messier.
Yeah.
It points out our tragic tendency of, well, the text says, clinging to shadows, chasing after ghosts.
Chasing after ghosts.
Right. And it specifically calls out pursuits like fame and wealth.
Wait, I want to pause on that. Chasing after ghosts?
Yeah.
Because I think about our modern digital lives or, career anxiety.
Right, definitely.
Like, we send an email and sit there just refreshing the screen trying to, like, physically will a response into existence.
We've all been there.
Right. Or we obsess over metrics or job titles or just how people perceive us.
Yeah.
But why are those things described as ghosts or shadows?
Well, it's really because of the causality of human desire. Fame, wealth, status. These aren't painted as inherently evil things in the text. They are painted as insubstantial things.
Oh, interesting. Insubstantial.
Right. They are illusions created by the human ego. I mean, you cannot catch a ghost.
No, you can't.
You cannot hold on to a shadow. And yet, biologically and psychologically, our brains treat these illusions as tangible survival needs.
Like actual life or death things.
Exactly. We attach our entire identity to the high tide of an achievement.
So true.
When we secure a promotion or, a post goes viral, or even just if we have a really productive Tuesday, our brain releases a massive hit of dopamine.
The brain is just like, yes, more of this.
Yes. It says, this is who I am now. I must maintain this high tide forever.
But the tide has to recede. I mean, that's just the rule of the ocean.
Precisely. The ocean always pulls back. But because our identity is so wrapped up in that peak, we panic.
Oh, so we are the swimmer in the riptide.
Yes, we are the swimmer. We desperately try to, drag the water back up the beach. We fight the natural recession of things, and that friction, that desperate clinging, is the root of our perpetual exhaustion.
Okay, realizing that we are clinging to illusions is one thing, but, letting go of them.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
It is. That is where this text actually starts to make me a little anxious, honestly.
Really? How come?
Because the solution it offers for this suffering is total detachment. It uses this imagery of becoming an unmoored, untied, lonely boat. And I have to be honest, I hear unmoored, lonely boat, and my immediate reaction is just panic.
Well, that is the intended reaction, actually.
It is.
Yeah, it is entirely designed to provoke that discomfort.
Well, it totally worked. Because, we are conditioned from childhood to drop anchors.
Right, of course.
We are constantly told to buy a house, secure a legacy, build a personal brand, put down roots.
All the anchors.
Right. If I stop striving at work tomorrow, I don't achieve Zen. I just get fired.
Fair point.
So if I let myself just float away like an untied boat, aren't I just giving up? Like, isn't that just a poetic excuse for aimlessness or apathy?
I get that. It is a very natural modern reaction to equate anchors with safety. But the text is actually inviting you to examine the cost of that anchor.
The cost, okay.
Yeah. Being unmoored in this context does not mean being aimless, and it doesn't mean neglecting your earthly responsibilities like your job or your family.
Okay, that's a relief.
It means moving through your life free from the friction of resistance.
I'm trying to picture that practically, though. Like, how do you move without friction?
So the text provides a really great companion metaphor to help explain this. It talks about wild geese flying past in silence.
Wild geese?
Think about the biological reality of wild geese. They are not aimless at all.
No, they fly in that V formation.
Exactly. They have a very specific, rigorous destination. They're migrating thousands of miles. But look at how they move.
How do you mean?
They pass in silence. They do not try to leave a permanent, ego-driven scar on the sky to prove they were there.
Oh, wow.
They don't worry about whether the sky will remember their formation after they are gone.
Oh, that completely flips the script for me.
Right.
So they have a destination, they are doing the work, they're making the journey, but they aren't obsessed with their legacy.
Exactly.
Compare that to the modern obsession with, like, our digital footprint.
Oh, it's exhausting.
It is. We are constantly curating our social media, our resumes, our public image, just to ensure we are somehow remembered by the algorithm. We are essentially dragging this massive, heavy iron anchor of our digital ego across the ocean floor everywhere we go.
That is a perfect modern parallel. The text explicitly talks about living a life that leaves no sound in the sky.
Leaves no sound in the sky.
Moving through the world with a completely unburdened mind, leaving nothing behind but shadows on the moonbeam.
That's beautiful.
It is the ultimate release of the ego's need to control the narrative. You can still navigate the world. You are still a boat. You can still have a compass.
Right.
You are still a migrating goose. But you have finally severed that heavy iron chain of needing external validation.
This is where the text makes a pivot that I found, honestly, absolutely mind-blowing.
The physical part.
Yes. It argues that this psychological shift,
Right.
the act of mentally severing that chain and stopping the chase, it doesn't just change your thoughts, it literally physically transforms the human body.
It's incredible.
The wording is, every pathway in the body will soften and all meridians soothe.
The mind-body resonance in this text is not just a philosophical concept. It actually describes a visceral biological reality.
Really, like literal biology.
Absolutely. The ancients used the term meridians to describe the pathways of energy in the body. But modern science actually translates this perfectly into how our nervous and vascular systems respond to perceived threats.
Right, because if I think about how my body feels when I am dragging that anchor around.
And your stress.
Exactly. When I am stressed about a deadline or worrying about my status at work, my shoulders are literally creeping up to my ears.
Oh, yeah.
My jaw is clenched so tight I wake up with headaches. My breathing becomes incredibly shallow. Like I am literally embodying the tension.
You are manifesting a prolonged state of fight or flight.
Fight or flight, yeah.
When your brain perceives that your ego or your status is threatened, when it thinks you are losing your grip on that ghost of success, your amygdala sounds a massive alarm.
It thinks I'm going to die.
Exactly. It floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline. Your blood vessels literally constrict. Your muscles tense up to prepare for a physical attack that is, well, never actually coming.
So your body literally becomes a fortress.
Yes.
I become completely rigid.
Rigid and totally closed off from the world. So when the poem talks about the pathways softening and the meridians soothing, it is describing the ultimate parasympathetic nervous system response.
Wow.
When the mind finally accepts impermanence, when it realizes there is no tiger, only a receding tide, the amygdala stops pumping those stress hormones.
The alarm turns off.
The alarm turns off. The vascular pathways physically dilate. Oxygen returns to the muscles. The nervous system shifts from fight or flight to rest and digest.
That is it's just written in breathtaking poetry instead of like a dry medical journal.
Exactly. And the poetry takes that literal physical release and elevates it. It says that when those biological pathways soften, it allows the entire universe to bloom into spring within us.
Bloom into spring.
Yes. It brings a gentle warmth on 1,000 peaks.
Okay, I need to understand those 1,000 peaks. Because initially, when I read that, I pictured like a beautiful mountain range in the distance.
Yeah, a landscape.
Right. But based on what you were saying about the nervous system, these peaks aren't external obstacles, are they?
No, not at all. They are deeply internal. The 1,000 peaks represent the rigid, frozen tension points inside your own body.
Oh my God.
The knot in your lower back, the tightness in your chest, that migraine building behind your eyes.
Those are my peaks.
Those are your personal frozen peaks.
So the physical healing and the spiritual awakening, they're the exact same mechanism.
They are completely inseparable. When you let go of the mental clinging, the winter of your anxiety finally breaks.
The ice melts.
The ice on your personal 1,000 peaks melts. The gentle warmth of spring flows through your pathways. The universe doesn't just bloom out there in the world, it blooms inside of you because you have finally stopped resisting the natural flow of reality.
You've stopped swimming against the riptide.
You stopped fighting the ocean.
It is such a radically holistic view of human well-being. Like, we constantly treat our minds and our bodies like they are two completely separate machines.
We really do.
We go to a therapist for the mind, and then a massage therapist for the knotted shoulders, completely ignoring that the mind is what tied the knot in the first place.
Exactly.
You simply cannot have a clenched mind and a soft body.
You can't. The ecosystem is entirely connected, and once that body finally softens and the mind truly lets go of its earthly anchors, the text asks a vital question. What remains? Like, what is actually left when all the striving stops?
This is where the poem shifts into this beautiful rhyming stanza. It feels like a climax, but it's not loud.
No, it's very quiet.
It begins with the line, "Silent virtue flows."
And it leads us to one of the most profound realizations in the entire piece. Ultimate harmony needs no words to be complete.
Ultimate harmony needs no words. You know, if you look at actual human experience, our most profound moments of connection are almost entirely silent. Like, if you are standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon, just taking in the scale of the earth, or if you are holding a loved one after a really long time apart, you don't talk.
No, words aren't needed.
If you try to narrate the sunset to the person next to you, or try to put words to that feeling of awe, the language actually diminishes the reality. The words just get in the way.
Yeah, because language is a tool for categorizing and dividing the world. The truth of ultimate harmony is far too vast to be chopped up into language.
Yeah.
And as the text reaches its final visual, it invites us into that exact boundless silence. It describes how tides recede and skies break open where the sea and ferry meet.
Tides recede and skies break open where the sea and ferry meet. Just saying those words out loud, you can actually feel the shift.
The pacing just naturally slows down.
Yeah.
The frantic energy of the beginning is just entirely gone.
The raging tide we started with. Well, all of that exhausting ambition and panic, it really has receded.
It leaves without a word. And what is left behind is simply the open sky.
Where the sea and ferry meet. That unmoored, lonely boat we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
It isn't lost at all, is it?
No.
It is just meeting the endless water.
It represents the complete dissolution of the boundary between the self and the universe. There is no more fighting the current.
Right.
There is no more dragging the anchor. There is only the gentle, rhythmic rocking of the water beneath you and the vastness of the open sky above you.
I love sitting with that. It really puts into perspective how much noise we voluntarily invite into our lives.
So much noise.
How much of our daily exhaustion is just completely self-inflicted simply because we're trying to force the ocean to go where we want it to go.
The illusion of control is always the loudest, most exhausting noise in the human mind.
Always. So let's sort of trace the path you've taken with us today through these sources.
Let's do it.
We started in the dangerous turbulence of the riptide. We looked at the roaring, unsummoned tide of our own ambitions and that deeply flawed human tendency to chase after the ghosts of fame and wealth and control.
Then we explored the radical mechanism of detachment.
The unmoored boat.
Right, stepping into the role of the untied boat. Learning from the wild geese that, migrate with purpose but pass in absolute silence.
Proving that true freedom comes from letting go of the desperate need to leave a permanent mark.
Exactly. And from there, we uncovered the biological reality of this philosophy, the realization that letting go softens the literal pathways of the body.
Yeah, that was huge for me.
It stops the flood of stress, dilates the meridians, and allows the frozen, tense peaks of our physical bodies to finally melt into a gentle internal spring.
And finally, we arrived at the open, wordless sky, the ultimate harmony that requires absolute silence to be fully known. A place where the tides recede, the striving ends, and the sea and the ferry meet in perfect, boundless stillness.
It's quite a journey.
It really is. The next time you feel the urge to tighten up in stress, the next time you feel your shoulders creeping up to your ears, or you find yourself just exhausting your energy chasing the ghost of an outcome you cannot control, I want you to close your eyes just for a second. And remember the unmoored boat. Remember that you do not always have to drop an anchor. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is just let the water hold you.
And as we leave you today, consider the mental landscape you are cultivating. When the loud, unsummoned tide of your daily anxieties finally pulls back, what kind of sky is left behind?
To build on that, we want to leave you with one final thought to mull over in the quiet. If ultimate harmony truly needs no words to be complete, well, what is the loudest, most unnecessary pressure in your life right now that you could simply let go of? What would actually happen if you decided to let your mind leave no sound in the sky today?